Hey everyone, I'm Daisuke from Pixologic. Let me just tweak some settings inside the stream. Okay, should be fine. No, should be fine. Okay. Hey everyone, so let me start sculpting. And today I'm trying to focus on the Mantis blade itself. Like currently the design is like this, but it's just a rough design. And I would like to have a better, like more rigid kind of like shape. So what I'm gonna do is copy this, send it to another tool so I have this isolated, and then next I would like to center this position so I have a better, like a symmetry kind of like position. Something like this. Just checking. No need for perspectives, and that should be roughly fine. And then like I'm gonna tweak this so it has a better topology. Does it have does it have masking? Nope. Nope, should be fine. Okay. So currently, because this is not symmetry, I would want to have this symmetry. So first of all, I think I should start with a cube and then a cube out of this so I have a cleaner topology. Then start from here. E. So I'm gonna delete some topology that I don't really need. So I don't need these, I guess. And then I think I need to do some symmetry on the Z side instead of X. And then scale it down like this. Hey, do you have your own YouTube channel? Yeah. Just search for Kizaki Aoi. And I think you'll find my personal channel, yeah. It's mostly in Japanese, so if you're like looking for an English like version of my stuff, I don't really have that much time to actually do the videos for an English audience. But basically my UIs are all, I think most of the stuff is in English, so you can just follow along visually. So now I have a rough kind of like shape around this kind of like arm structure here, and I just need to like tweak the details around so I have a bit of a bend to this kind of like shape. Something like this. And I think I should move the edges like this, and then move the partial like I think I should move the edge by masking. You're learning Mandarin? I have no idea about Chinese, so even though like even my boss mentions this, but like even the Japanese is kind of like structurally this like kind of like this similar, like using like kanji and stuff like that. We really don't understand Chinese as a language, so E. Currently trying to make a rough shape around what I've made so I can finalize the blade shape. I think I should split this just in case. So something like this. And let me see. I think I should add a edge right here. Like this. I was just basically saying if I watch enough and listen to you speak, then I'll pick it up and learn. Huh. Yeah, you'll like start to understand the structure of the language if you like start to listen and try to speak. It was interesting for me to see a YouTuber who's a British guy who's like living in Japan for a while now, and he started to play Apex Legends, and now he understands the language better because he started to use them more frequently. So usually the language, if you want to learn some language, it's better to like have a talk with that like country's person and make a friend with it, and then try to speak in that specific language. You have a better understanding of that language if you do so. Ooh, where did I break the symmetry? Okay, then I just need to do the welding in Z-axis. Should be fine. Yep. I don't need this welding, so I'm gonna turn the geometry welding tolerance to basically 2, I guess. So it sticks more or less frequently. So something like this. And I think I should add a bit more detail because it's this point should be a bit more like a blade and not like a arm of a mechanical robot. Like I want this thin. Yeah, something like this. And okay, so I'm gonna add a bit more detail around here. Mask this area. Something like this, and yeah, maybe yellow edge loop. Insert. That should be fine, and let's see. Oh, I've totally forgot about this area. Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna add some insert edges. something like this. Maybe a bit more thin. Today I woke up to some terrible news holding Japan. Do you think Miura did any mangaka inspire you to take this art? Yeah, it was a tragic story from. Well, if you're not aware of this news, the manga artist from Berserk has passed away. I think it was beginning of beginning of May, and the news just came out yesterday from the publishers or the editors who are doing the actual manga series, talking into detail how he passed away, and it went like a big, like a tragic story around, like especially in the manga community and the people who love Japanese mangas. Yeah, it's a tragic story. I don't want to hear those kind of news, especially because like how he passed away was like very similar to what one of our ZBrush live streamers who passed away have to suffer through. So it's not good, right? Everybody needs to take care of their health, and like I don't know how he was like doing during the days, but everybody works so hard to get stuff done, and they don't really care about their health, and usually they just pass away. And I've seen those kind of like trends of like artists suffering from those kind of like long hours of like work, and it's just tragic. I don't want to hear those kind of things. Yeah, it's sad. Miura-san was one of my favorites, and there's like a lot of like manga artists, like novel artists, who are doing splendid work. Like and like what made me a part of this, like what do you call those? It made me make my art. Like for example, one of my favorites is Kamachi Sensei from Toaru. So there's a famous light novel series called A Certain Scientific Railgun, A Certain Magical Index, and he's the author of that light novel. I respect him so much. And other like novel artists, novel authors I love is Jumonji Ao, who made the Brave Heart of Maria Rose, and the Grim Gull series he made as well. So yeah, there's a lot of like artists like who I respect, but I don't want them to suffer those kind of like illnesses or like tough times. Like it's just sad. Like I want everybody to be rich and like and no need for suffering through any like money problems and those kind of stuff. Yeah, there was a news around that topic as well. Like, it's getting more common, I guess. I don't know how like as a percentage how many how much it is common or not, but I do see the same kind of like illness happening to a lot of like similar kind of like artists who are doing a lot of like hours on their jobs, and it's just tragic. Like they need to have more time to rest. Well, there was a couple of like news around like the specific. What was it? I can't remember the name of the thing specifically. I know it in Japanese, but like acute. What was it? Acute aortic dissection. I'm not I'm not a doctor, so yeah, like there was a couple of people talking about like what kind of like illness that is and how they found out that in the early stages, like some people can survive when they find out on the early stages, but some people can't really survive, or like some people can't do anything because the location where that happened was like a bit off. So that kind of like depends on what kind of like situation they had to go through as well. Oh, let's not turn this into. It is just sad, man. Like sometimes like I feel like I have a habit of like smiling, and especially when it's a sad time, I have a like habit of like smiling, and like it feels weird, but like it's kind of my coping mechanism. and like it's been a while like this. Like I can't really control my face anymore. It's like I don't know why, but I want to maintain this and have the same kind of like shape on this side. So I need to move this close to the back and select this. I think 4 is fine. I had like I think it's 5 originally. Yeah. Inset and then try to push this. Well, interestingly, one of my reasons of starting sculpting or like starting to draw anything was Suzumi no Haruhi. It's very odd because I really love the anime and I wanted to draw something, and then I just started drawing, and so that's the reason I'm here, kind of. Oh yeah, Kyoto Animation is another kind of like tragedy as well. Like I didn't want to bring the conversation to that point, but yeah. But yeah, it's an awesome anime studio. Ooh. Yeah. Well, yeah, that like when that happened, like I was devastated as well. Like I didn't really feel like making anything for weeks. Yeah. Seems like they're back on track as well, like as for production. I think I need another pot over here. Let me see. I think I need to split this. I think I should make another split pot like this. Maybe I want to flip this. By the way, is there a reason why you're not doing it this way and not with the live booleans? Are you trying to get a good topology directly? I just joined the stream a bit late. So basically I've made a rough shape with like sculptures, I guess, or Dynamesh. And then it's pretty rough, right? But I want the clean topology so I could do some insets and a bit more like hard surface stuff. So it's basically just making the basic shape from that. And then maybe just using a bit of like live booleans on the side if I needed to. It's just preference. There's not much like huge reason why not like use booleans or something like that. But it gives you a clean silhouette of like the shape, and you have a better control over it as well. You can do ZBrush as well, like, but since this kind of like shape is off center, like this, like if you look at it from this straight position, it's not straight, right? It's wonky as hell. So I'm trying to make a straight shape and then maybe add a bit more details on the side, or a bit more like of a freestyle on the bottom here. Currently it just looks like a metal kind of like bendy arm, and it's not really cool, right? So currently I'm just getting the shapes done and then maybe adjust it later on. Of course you can like tweak the topology and then make sure you can bring it down to like ZBrush or like make it into symmetry and then try to adjust it. You can do those, but for me it's kind of like easy and simple to just get the shape done and then replace it. It really comes down to like what kind of like workflow you're used to. So some people might say, oh, you're not doing it correct, you can do this way, that way, any other way, but it depends, right? Like if you ask another ZBrush artist, they have their different kind of like workflow. And if you ask Sarak-san, he's gonna have a more like a cleaner way of doing it. And then if you ask me, I have the roughest way of like doing it then. It's off center. Yep. And if you ask Paul, I think he has another method as well. So it really depends on who you ask. Yeah, that's the good part of ZBrush, in my opinion. I could have just made one of these and then duplicated as well, or used array mesh, or even nanomesh. Yeah, like there's a lot of like artists who can do hard surface. Paul is really good at like hard surface, and um, if you haven't seen Chaos Martin's, I can't really pronounce that. I think it's half French. Chaos. Chaos. Summit. If you haven't watched this, I highly recommend watching this. And I think they did ZBrush Masters as well. This one. So if you take a look, like he's really good at like cleaning up topology using ZBrush for hard surface. Of course, he does manual retopology as well, but it's really a nice workflow if you're like making a concept design and then if you want to tweak the topology, he does show a good way to do it as well. Yeah, like I'm kind of like surprised. Like if you watch him do something live, like it's really fast. And he doesn't really hide like techniques. Like that part is really surprising, or like it's like usually, especially in the industry, people like they want to hide things, right? But Marco doesn't hide anything. Like he talks like most of the tips and tricks of how he does it. And it's really easy to understand. You can go to his art station and watch some tips and tricks. Yeah, we just talked about Miro-san. Yeah, like if you show other people the way, it's like you get more benefits in the long run, but like usually people don't see that. Usually people would like rather hide like industry techniques and then don't want to share them. Like you can see those kind of like attitudes in a lot of like industries. I'm kind of like sad. But it does make sense because like they have the financial incentive to hide things. And sometimes like those kind of like incentives are really huge, and like if you're in that position, it does kind of like make sense. Yeah, it's kind of like easy when you don't really have the things to lose, but yeah, at the same time, it kind of like sucks if you don't really have the things to like share or like take advantage of as well. It was the same for like Japan, like especially in Japan, like the industry people don't really share a lot of things. If that's more industry, like for example, if it's more CAD related, they don't want to share anything. Like I had a conversation with a CAD modeler, and then he was talking about why is ZBrush so ZBrush people sharing a lot of like knowledges with each other, and he was like really confused because a lot of like lot of people in the industry like making CAD models, they don't really want to share how they make models or like how to get a clean shape out of it. And like I was like confused. I was like, why? Hmm. Do you think the community is kind of like selfish? Well, it depends. Like, it depends on how you see it. I think, especially in Japan, like people are just busy. If they have the time and then if they have the chance to share it, they would love to share it. But sometimes, I met some couple of people who don't want to do that, and it really depends on who you ask or who you talk to. But usually, if you're serious and if you talk to a professional who is doing it, they would love to talk to you about like a couple of techniques. And if you're good enough, especially. People don't want to share information if they don't think you're serious enough. Yeah, I kind of like see that. It is sad because like you can make a lot of like good things with CAD. Um, transform. D. Qmesh. Push. Mask. And bevel. Yeah, looks nice. I'm wondering if I should split this part so it looks like two parts compared to one. Well, let me think about that and then just move on for now. But at the same time, like people need to make a living. So if they have a way to make a living with that kind of like secrecy, I can't really blame it. People are not really thankful, and then they don't really pay with people who are like being thankful doesn't really pay your rents as well. So in my experience, like I talked to a professional who was like trying to do like figurines at the time, and then like he wanted to ask a lot of like techniques, and I taught him a couple of like techniques how to do things, and he just straight up like betrayed me, and like he wasn't really thankful, and then that kind of like stuff happened as well. Like it kind of like sucks if that happens. I kind of like had a period of like me not trusting other people. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, I think I should start making some like top 10 anime betrayals of like of the decade or something like that. Do you use any other 3D software for modeling? For me, sometimes 3ds Max, but I barely use them recently. For my like workflow, I use ZBrush mainly. Like 99% of the time, it's ZBrush, and like sometimes if I need to make some more specific hard surface models, then I switch to 3ds Max. think you mean 180 degrees. It was how ZBrush was coded in the first place, so there's a couple of reasons why it does that. I kind of understand your point. I think I should add cables. Cables. Hello. Good troll, man. Now I believe ZBrush is the best, you know. I know the community is kind of like obnoxious, like in my opinion. Like I'm tired of like seeing those. Like if you go to another like stream, like other like modeling streams, I think most of the people are just like tired of like seeing those kind of comments. Like you get it, right? Yeah, ZBrush is the best. Okay, so I'm deleting these polygons. Ugh. I think I have the symmetry on. Wait. I have the century on. What? Hmm. Yep. Just need some fine control, and I just need to delete this. Delete. And yeah, and then making a bridge with 2 holes. Maybe try to make it a bit more simple, and then adjust it. Like I wish like people who are like aggressive from like, the Blender community was more friendly as well. Like if like everybody's watching those kind of like attitudes and then being fine with it, it's kind of like weird, right? Let me think. Just one cable is fine. I think just making a couple of like cables and then bending it would be nice. Like I don't want to talk bad about some like software communities and stuff, but sometimes like it feels like talking to a kid. Who just found their like first love to their like software, and then they can't think of other people like loving other things. I don't know. It's like going to anime forum and then seeing your best girl getting like beating to like hell from some other like popular community, and then you have no say in it. It's just like that. Like other characters have fans as well, like, right? You don't need to beat up on other community. Well, it wasn't in the plans, like, to be honest. Well, if there's gonna be a ZBrush Tan or a ZBrush Chan, what artist would you want the character designer to be? Yeah, it's a good conversation starter, I guess. Naomori sensei? Naomori sensei. Oh, Naomori. Yuri Yuri. Yeah. I think it's hard because the character design is a bit like stylized too much. You don't have the huge like details that ZBrush is really known for. Yeah, I get it. Move to topology or move topology? Move topology. Maybe not. Masking? Yeah, if the simple shape doesn't look correct, or if the simple shape doesn't look cool enough, it's not gonna look cool at the end. Like, it's pretty much impossible to get it done. at the same time, like there's some couple of like character designs which you can't really add details. If you add detail, it's gonna like make the design look bad as well. Yeah, one of us already passed away, so you lost your chance. Yeah, but I think thinking about those kind of like limitations, or like thinking about those kind of like what this software is known for, is kind of like important when you're thinking about those kind of like designs for a character, especially for a mascot character for a software. But yeah, if there was a chance, like I would have like asked them to draw one in a heartbeat. Tend to be easy to recognize, so a detailed one would be hard to design. No, at the same time, like for example, like Chun-Li is easy to recognize, but it does have a lot of details. Maybe not add this. Yeah, I don't think I would want to add this. Yeah, like Windows 7 design, Windows 7 mascot designs, like unofficial mascot designs, they were really popular as well. Like, XP Tan was pretty cute as well. And I personally loved the character design which Taiwan made for their official. I think it was the Silverlight service they did. They had a mascot character for that specific country, and it was pretty popular in Japan. yeah, it did have a like a cult following, and it was a nice community as well. And that was, I think it was official, is my understanding. It was not like what, it was official, like Microsoft Taiwan official. I might be wrong, but yeah, you can check the facts. I personally like the Ojo-sama kind of like designs, so my preference. It just looks nice. Maybe I need to add a couple of like details like these. Like if you look at a knife, like these kind of like bendy knives, like fold over knives, you have those kind of like stoppers at the end. So it doesn't go over the corners, and then like if it goes over the corners, it's just gonna like spin around 360 degrees, right? So I think we should have kind of like a stopper mechanism, so it prevents those kind of like activities. And maybe kind of like a shape, so it looks like that. There's kind of like a lock mechanism. I can't talk about any like future decisions, but I know, like, are people like actually sculpting on iOS that much? Or Android? I don't think they will pay for the development cost that we would need to pay. And like for me, like I bought some like tablet PCs, but the issue is that like I bought tablet PCs so I can just sculpt casually, like on a bed or like just lying around. And what I just did was like I didn't do any sculpt. Like I just watched YouTube videos, and that's what I did. Just like what like the entire PC was just for that, but I just used it for watching YouTube videos. And I had a talk with other artists who are using those kind of like tablet PCs or like casual devices, and what they got was what I got as a like result of that conversation was that people don't really use it for serious sculpting or like serious usage. They don't really do drawing on that stuff as well. Like they don't really, they have like applications, but they prefer to just use phones for like business or games, and that was it. I personally would rather spend time just sitting like in front of a PC and then just focus on that. Like if I like lie down, I would prefer to spend time lying down in rest compared to like sculpting, like listening to music at the same time as like lying around. Like it doesn't make me rest, and I don't get the same benefit of like doing it on a PC and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. And also like talking about like software development, like it's not just like one shot deal. It's not like I make a software once, I don't need to update it or something like that. It's always like constantly development or people demanding more stuff because we did one thing and then people want more. That's usually the way, right? Then it's not just a casual, oh, we just made an application for this, and it's not like that. It needs to continue on development. And then it needs to justify the cost. I'm not saying it's not happening, or if it's like, it's not like my like opinion is like the entirety of like the Pixologic development team. It's not like that. It's just my opinion, right? And like I said, like I can't really talk about future developments, right? Sorry, getting a message from the software. No, the web team. Well, if we decided to go to that like development route, it's not gonna be like, oh, like if we announce that like, oh, people ask this, and then like people will say like, oh, it was just wishful thinking, and we didn't really expect people to pay for this, and like that's not gonna justify development, right? So kind of like hard to say. And especially for VR, if we decide to do VR, we actually need to like port the actual like sculpting functionality as well, right? People are not going to expect like the sculpting applications VR mode to be just a viewer, right? And then what's the limitation of that poly count? Or is that VR goggle gonna be compatible with GPU or CPU? Then is the sculptability gonna be the same and stuff like that? So there's lots of things we need to think about if we actually talking about like development stuff, right? We hope so. Well, I think if you're talking about business decisions, then I think it's better to take a look at the numbers as well. Like, if you look at the how much revenue the software developers are making for the mobile application market, I don't think it's too big. I know, but there's a couple of like things that we need to consider if you're talking about like a wish list. And like for example, if you talk about like an iPhone application or an iPad application, is that just for iPad? And then what about the people on Android as well? Like they're gonna demand the same thing. Do we need to make the same thing for the other side as well? Then do we need to make it multi-platform? It's a lot of things to think about. Like, but I can't really talk about the future development of ZBrush. Like, I don't know what's bad about like relying on CPUs. Like, there's a good thing. Like, for example, GPUs you can't really get them right now. So, because of the well, it declined, but like there was a huge demand for the graphic boards because of the bitcoins, right? And while that was happening, we didn't really have any like people like suffering from a lack of GPUs. And there's a couple of like downsides to GPUs, right? And like for example, you can't really have a lot of power in one specific GPU cell, right? And compared to the CPUs are more powerful for one like core compared to GPUs like calculations. So you can do more powerful things with CPUs, and that's the reason why some performance or some calculations are better on CPUs. So if you compare like other graphic graphic based like applications, can they handle 100 million polygons? I don't think so, right? And then you need to have like buffed up GPU to handle those, and you have a lot of like heat coming out from the machines. And then for me, like for example, like if I run a GPU and if I'm like running a render on a summer day, my room will like get really hot. Like I can't really bear to like work in that environment as well. There is advantages. There's a couple of downfalls as well. Like there's both worlds. Like so I know people talk about like GPUs as a silver bullet for like software development, and then like on the comment section people talk about like, oh, why doesn't ZBrush support GPU? I get it, but sometimes it's not gonna like benefit the software, or it does but it works in a like different way as expected, right? So it doesn't really like work the way people expect it to. So yeah, there's a couple of reasons why we take these kind of like steps, right? Yeah, also that as well. Like you're gonna have a limitation on one system compared to another. Like for example, AMD doesn't really have a ray tracing engine or a ray tracing system, so it needs to like be compatible with NVIDIA's like ray tracing engine, and at the same time you can't really like throw away the other portion of the GPU population, right? So you're gonna have both compatibility to be like considered as well. So you can't really just like throw away like words like GPU or compatibility, ray tracing, and like marketing buzzwords, and then like voila, we have the we have the actual like thing that people might be happy. So I don't know, man. Like I know what you're saying, but at the same time, there's a couple of like realities we need to think about as a like software company. Yeah, like CPU is more high quality when you compare those kind of like, simulations. Like the accuracy is the CPU is more accurate compared to GPUs. So, like for example, if you want to finalize a simulation, people would prefer to use CPUs compared to GPUs. And it's the same for rendering. People prefer CPU rendering still for if they have a big server, and then if they have a budget for rendering. But if they are a small studio, if they have a like time limit compared to like a budget, they would prefer to use GPUs, right? So there's both sides to the conversation. There's both sides of the benefit. And CPU might take more time, but there's accuracy, there's more clear kind of like rendering happening on the GPU. no, the CPU compared to GPU. So there was a talk about this in the, I think it was the Keyshot GPU announcement, and when they released the GPUs, they were talking about the accuracy of the GPU compared to the CPU and stuff. But they mentioned in the blog that if you compare the accuracy, CPU is better, but like if you compare the time of the calculation, then GPU would be better. So there's both sides of the conversation. There's not much like one situation trumps all situation. And especially for ZBrush, like if you see the minimum requirements for ZBrush, like you can run ZBrush with like 10-year-old PCs and stuff, and it works just fine. Like it takes a bit more time, but like usually you don't really have a suffering unless you have like 4 GB of like RAM and stuff like that. You need more RAM to handle a fair amount of like polygons, but yeah. My PC is like running on i7 3rd generation, and it's working fine, so you get the idea. What kind of technical stuff? I think I talk about a lot of like technical stuff inside ZBrush in streams, but what kind of like question was that? I don't remember the conversation. Well, if you're like seeking maximum utilizability or like maximum usage on a specific hardware, then yeah, kind of. But I don't think you actually need to know about those things if you're like working as an artist, right? I don't like some people don't even know their like PC specs, right? But they make great art. Do they need to know about those kind of like stuff? I don't know. I even met an artist who doesn't really know how to like switch on a PC or like switch off a PC, and he just run the PC all the time. But he was able to make fantastic art. Like, he doesn't really know to like he doesn't really need to know how to like shut off a PC. He just needs to know like how to get good art. But it's good to like close down your PC occasionally because of the hard drive speed will like decrease over time and stuff like that. Like you have more functions on the hardware side compared to like the software. Well, if we are going to develop something, and then if we have, or if we think it's like enough that we could announce it, we'll let you know. So in the meanwhile, like I can't really say anything, right? Like some of the things like I want to talk about, but like some things I don't have a say in it as well. Like me, Cosmic. Yeah, I think surprise is a better way to like surprise people. Yeah, if you're like spoiled ahead of time, what's the fun in it, right? Oh, like when we were like starting, like when we had the meeting of the cloth simulations, my mind was like blown. Like whoa, like, we adding this like next version really? I was like that. So. I tried to pitch a couple of like ideas to like cloth sims as well. Like, I think I can talk about one thing. If you're familiar with the deformations in dynamics, you have the dynamics simulation, and then you have the transpose cloth, right? And then in the menus, you have this on mask feature. So what me and our development team came up with is that, like, I just pitched some ideas. Like, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be fun to be able to do these kind of like stuff? And they come up with some like fabulous ideas, right? And for example, I just need more divisions. Like, for example, let's say we have these kind of like shapes, right? Maybe more, yeah, these kind of like shapes. And then if we try to mask it like this, and if you have the unmasked enabled, what it does is that this area of the unmasked position will control how the rest of the masked part will behave. It's like grabbing a cloth and then pulling it, right? And then we thought about this and like was talking to the developers, and like we came up with this kind of like thing, which like let me think. Like controlling how the I think it's better to have the double side. Double side on, and I think it was just having a bit of this and then rotating. I forgot how to do this, but you were able to like rotate around. I think it's self collision, gravity. And then like rolling these kind of like shapes. Oh, I remember now. Like, you don't really need this kind of like amount of like topology. You just need 1K, and then you just roll it like this. You can have like a scroll kind of like effect. Was it the opposite? No, I'm not sure. Let me see. I think it was this side. Well, you can like try to roll the cloth like a rolled up paper, and then you can have the effect like that, and then like trying to like roll this around like this. It does penetrate the polygons if you have the iterations a bit low, so you have to like put the iterations a bit high, and then if you try to like roll it around, you have this kind of like scroll getting rolled around. I think it was more. I think it was 800. I'm thinking like I think I've forgotten one thing. I think it was thickness. You need to have a bit more thickness, and then you try to roll this around. You have this kind of like interaction. It's been a while, like I forgot how to do this, like, but you get the idea. Like, you can roll up the shapes by using unmasked to control the portions you're not really selecting. Yeah, I think Joseph was showing this, or Paul was showing this. And for example, like, you don't need to like specifically use the transpose action lines. You can use the twist as well. Like, for example, if you have the cloth twist, and then if you select the area like this, and then like reverse it, and then you have the entire shape like getting affected. And for example, if you have like move or snake hook, I think it was cloth move, then you can like cloth nudge. You can grab this area and then try to affect the surrounding area as well. Like, also you can do this with like unmasked, but it doesn't have the same kind of like effect. If you use unmasked, it's gonna have a bit more like fun around the areas you didn't really select. So yeah, like, we came up with this kind of like stuff, like talking to developers, and then like giving feedback, like if you like pull a cop in, like what would it do and stuff like that. And like, if you go to dynamics, and then if you look at the unbrushed section, and then it says like 6 fade border. What this does is that like it only like uses the cloth where the brush touched, and this is the limited area it does, and then it tries to blur it. So if you put the fade border 0, it's gonna be more like snappy, like it's more like visible. You see these kind of like areas where it's not selected, and like it's getting affected. So if you like try to blur this bit more, it's gonna have the areas like getting more like affected like a wave as well. Or you can even like disable the unbrushed, and then you can move the entire thing, but it's gonna take more calculations, so it's gonna take more time if you have a more dense mesh. as well. But like for example, if you use the cloth, I think it was slide, and then if you have the brush unbrushed off, and then if you have the like the elasticity setting to like a bit more like 20, I guess, then you're gonna have like these kind of like effect, like getting your like cloth pulled, but you have the resistance from the cloth as well. Like these are pretty fun to like play around. And also it's like getting the brush stroke, like how much time you put on the brush stroke affect how the quality of the wrinkles are applied. Here, so there's like a lot of things to consider as well. Like you can crank up the simulation and iteration, and then like you can crank up the elasticity strengths, and then you can have a bit more like fun effect happening on the brush. So usually, like when we ask questions, like for example, like questions to ourselves, like do we want to do the other features other people are doing, or do we want to go on our way and like develop the things that not much people are doing, or like what others are not doing? And then we usually choose the route of like what people are not doing, and seems like fun. So sometimes like people may not make sense from like our decisions, but we usually choose our route to go around. Also, you can add VDMs with cloth effect as well. So if you have like a wrinkle or a wave kind of like shape, then you could potentially place VDMs with those kind of like cloth wrinkles around it as well. I can't really talk about like future development stuff, like, but I don't think VR is the way to go. Like I can spend like 8 hours or like 10 hours just sculpting, right? But VR would be like really tiring. You can't really spend time like sculpting in VR for a couple of hours. Like you get motion sickness. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Oh, forgot to switch to transpose. Let me see. I want to make a cylindrical like outer shell, and maybe I just want to like switch to shell. Let me see, and yeah, I think the initial design was a bit more sharp and cool. So I might need to like tweak this a bit. What time did we start? Oh, it's already 2 hours. Let me see the calendars and see if I have a bit more time to actually sculpt. I do have other tasks than streaming, but I can see if I have the wiggle room to do so. Oh, we have Derek from 9 o'clock, so I should stop sculpting then. Sorry guys, so I'll try to move this file, move this entire mesh to the other file. So I'll make a folder, add all these. Folder, and then copy the folder, copy folder. So you go to the Z plugin, Subtool Master, copy folder, and then you go to the actual sculpt, and then go to the bottom, transform, no, Subtool Master, paste folder, and then you have the entire folder inside the same tool. So you have the, so I made the entire thing in a separate tool and then moved the entire tool to this specific tool. So then now I can select this specific tool, like transpose set, and then I can move around so I can place this into the original position. What I wanted to do is then, like, I wanted to keep the symmetry so I can like design it more freely, but do the symmetry more easily. But now I have enough like details as a symmetry. Now I can go back to the original mesh and then place it. So I'm trying to do that. And then I don't need the original mesh anymore. So I can delete this. And then let's see if I need this cylinder. So what the cylinder does is, on the next stream, I'm going to try to make the metal frame around the blades. And by using this kind of like cylinder shape, I can like draw out a rough kind of like metal frame around this, and then try to deform it and shape it around so you can have the the shaft of the well, the structure of the arm, but the inside is a hidden blade. So I'm gonna try to do that next stream, and it should be the last stream. Oh, oh. Somehow I have the masking. So if you have the masking, just reset it and then try to do the same thing again. Symmetry. Oh, yeah, it's definitely weird. You don't need any masking, just check. Symmetry again. Sorry, like I forget my symmetry is turned on. Tough, is it amazing feature? Don't you think that is really complicated to achieve it by software master? I didn't get the comment you posted. Well, some people make the entire like subtool in a different folder and then like try to like bring it, and then like people get stuck because they don't really know how to do it. But it's just like using subtool master and then just copy and paste. Nah, I don't think so. No, because like you're going through a lot of like tools and stuff like that. It's like easy to just automate with plugins. Can't be simple. Like it does look simple, but it's gonna be like you're actually moving a lot of like polygons. Like especially like currently this like poly count is like 5 million. So these kind of technical stuff can't really be simplified. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end my stream here. Say hi to Derek. Yep. Thank you guys. Bye. See you next week.